The following 3 steps will help you when witnessing your child's strong emotion. That strong emotion might come in the form of yelling, screaming, throwing, tantruming. No matter what the situation is bringing for you, always go back to these 3 steps to help you manage your own strong emotion arising as you witness someone that you love suffer. A tantrum is a form of suffering. It may be very quick. It may start, rise, subside, and be done. Your child's tantrum might affect other children in the room or the environment. Keeping the children safe is the number one priority. However, we also need to recognize that sometimes safety gets confused with our own anxiety watching a situation. The situation may be safe in nature. Nothing is going to harm the child. But if a child is screaming and yelling, as adults, we do tend to want to stop the behavior and fix whatever is happening. We're going to take a little bit of a different strategy with that today. And it starts with step 1. Recognize what is happening within you. When I ask you to recognize what is happening within you, your mind will automatically start to tell a story about what is happening. I am mad. I am frustrated that my child is tantruming again. Oh no, here we go again. I am embarrassed that others are watching. I feel judged that others are watching me. When I ask you to recognize what is happening within you, I'm redirecting you to recognize what physical sensations are present as you witness strong emotion in another. How is your stomach feeling? Queasy? Tight? Is your jaw clenched? Are your fists balled up? Are you furrowing your brow? Are your shoulders raised to your ears? When you ask these questions, it's very common for the mind to want to tell a stress story about why you're feeling these physical sensations. Know that that's what the mind does, and we honor and acknowledge that that is what the mind does. However, we are going to skillfully redirect our attention back to our feet on the ground. Please practice with me now. Wherever you are listening to this recording, maybe you're in a car and your right foot is on the gas pedal or your foot is on the brake. Feel your feet on the ground making contact with whatever they are. Feel your feet. Take a breath, breathing in through your nose like you're smelling something. And then blow all the air out through your mouth, witnessing the oxygen as it leaves your mouth as an exhale. Recognize the experience of breath. Breathing in, breathing out. The more you practice this type of breathing, the more you practice feeling your feet on the floor and recognizing what physical sensations are present for you during times of neutrality. When I say times of neutrality, I'm referring to times when strong emotion is not so present. Breathe in and breathe out. Step number 2, listen more than you speak. In the history of strong emotion, no one has ever calmed down because they were yelled at to calm down. That's just not the way it works. Emotion needs to be released in a healthy way, and sometimes that is, especially for small children, sometimes that is crying, screaming, yes, maybe even picking something up and throwing it. And when they are exhibiting that strong emotion, that's not the time to give them an education on how they can more positively deal with behavior. Adults can do best and serve the child best by modeling stillness. Adults can serve the child and the decline of the tantrum best by keeping the environment, the child, and other children in the room safe, while modeling stillness, silence, safety, and compassion. Listening more than you speak is definitely supported by focusing on step 1, recognize what's happening within you. If you redirect the stress story, feeling your feet on the ground, breathing in, checking in with your abdomen, checking in with your chest, checking in with what's happening with your hands, with your shoulders, naturally the story in our heads will calm down because you're redirecting your focus to something that's happening in the present moment through your senses. One thing that I like to do with my children is just ask them randomly when, again, we're in moments of neutrality that we spoke about in step 1, what is one thing you see? What is one thing you smell? What is one thing you hear? When I listen more than I speak, I allow the space for the tantrum to decline on its own, which brings me to step 3. Allow the tantrum to decline on its own timetable. We've all been in this situation before. We're at the grocery store. A young child is told no, and the child reacts with big emotion. This might be because they're hungry, they're tired, they really want the toy, they really want the snack. When parents really get into a dialogue with their children, when emotions are very strong, the dialogue tends to not calm the child down. But if we just move on and skillfully redirect the child's attention, if the adult models stillness and silence, the child will also start to exhibit those behaviors. If the adult, and I'll use myself, if I watch my 6-year-old screaming and yelling, and I scream and yell back, I'm now adding more energy to the already explosive situation. When I recognize what's happening within me, when I listen more than I speak, I try and get as quiet as possible. I try and say absolutely nothing until the strong emotion has calmed down enough that the child can actually hear me. I'm sure as moms and teachers, you've been there before. Your child is actually not even able to hear what you're saying to them because they're so much in the story in their heads and their emotion is so strong. The tantrum tends to decline on its own timetable, leaving no extra emotional residuals to come out at a later date. Step 1, recognize what's happening within you. Step 2, listen more than you speak. Step 3, allow the tantrum to decline on its own. Give it space to settle. If you practice number 1, then number 2, then number 3, you will notice that the child will start to tantrum less. You'll notice that your child will start to recognize what is happening within them before the tantrum explodes. Over time, you'll notice that the child will listen more than they yell and speak. This does take time, but trust me, it does work. And you'll notice that the child will tantrum differently. Their strong emotion will shift. Good luck, and if you need any help, know that I'm here at theintegratedmind.com for more lessons. Be well.